For today's live topic, what are the most important goals for the Washington Wizards this upcoming season? Come on, let's talk about it next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Brandon Scott again, and I appreciate you guys making Locked On Wizards your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. As the playoffs wind down, the sports start sporting like we want them to. But this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every single day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Sorry about my voice, guys. My voice has been kind of going out the last couple of days, man. So definitely bear with me. But definitely appreciate you guys tonight. Like I said, you guys voted and you got it. We're going live tonight. So the topic tonight, guys, is what is the most important goals for the Washington Wizards this season? I'm gonna give you guys my three, and definitely we're gonna talk about what are your personal goals for the Washington Wizards this upcoming season. And again, this topic actually came off of the other message boards where I asked people, what did you guys want me to cover? Somebody mentioned that they want me to kind of come up with a list of goals. So you ask and you shall receive. So let's get to it, everybody. Goal number one: Bilal progressing, better three-point shot, mid-range shot, and ball handling. Now, year two is important for Bilal Coulibaly because, look, the keys have been officially handed over to Bilal. And if you look at that, he's playing Olympics, so he's definitely going to get a lot of good experience playing Olympics against a lot of good talent. If you look at teams like Team Canada, Team USA, the list goes on. There's going to be a lot of good talent in the Olympics, man, and I think he's going to be able to match up against guys who are either starters or high-impact players in the NBA, and a lot of experienced guys. Especially we last video we looked at Team France, a lot of experience on Team France. Evan Fournier, the list goes on. Rudy Gobert, guys that have played, either playing in the NBA now or who have NBA experience at some point. So it's very important for Bilal to get the most he can out of the Olympics, man, because him progressing in year two is very important for the Wizards. You definitely want to see a better three-point shot, even though if you look at the numbers, and the numbers are kind of gray area where the numbers aren't bad for his three-point shot, but obviously we all know he has some work to do on his three-point shot. Definitely a faster release, but I think he will get there, and this is the year that you got to see some pay dirt when it comes to his three-point shot. But not only that, his mid-range. You want to see more of a mid-range shot from Bilal. Definitely want to see him utilize his jump shot a lot more, and his ball handling. Definitely want to see him work on his ball handling. And like I said, I'm going to be watching the Olympics. I'm going to be watching all the games, but I'm going to be looking at Bilal, man. See how he's doing. Definitely rooting for Bilal. Definitely going for Team USA, Team Germany, Team Nigeria. But I'm very intrigued to watch all these teams because it's going to be a lot of high-level basketball, man. So definitely want to see pay dirt with Bilal Coulibaly, right? Number two, Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma having career seasons and boosting their trade value. Now, if you look at this season coming up, obviously, look, Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma are going to be scoring option 1 and 2. Now, there's a lot of question, not so much question marks, but dominoes that need to fall as far as where do we place them. Now, a lot of people, including myself, think that Jordan Poole should definitely be the point guard due to his speed and his play style, right? And with this team number one in pace, second half of last season, you definitely want to see a team who can attack and transition. So hypothetically, and the same thing with Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma has been slated anywhere to be the next small forward or the power forward, depending on how Brian Keefe really configures the starting five. And obviously, he's subject to change as the season unfolds. But starting the season, does Alex Sarr does he still start at power forward, or do they revert Kyle Kuzma there? Does Bilal start at the 3? A lot of questions, and it's going to get clearer once we get to training camp, once we get the preseason games out the way, and it's going to be a lot clearer to see what the roster construction is going to be. Like I said, I'm going to attack the subject leading up to the season, look at the different combinations, different lineups. So we're definitely going to I'm definitely going to do my due diligence as far as finding the right lineups for this team going forward. But Kyle Kuzma right now, let's for the sake of argument, he starts at the small forward, and Jordan Poole is the starting point guard. Those two having career seasons and boosting the trade value is very important. Jordan Poole, young guard, in my opinion, he's going to be an all-star talent. He is an all-star talent, but he's a future all-star in my opinion. At one point was part of the long-term vision of the Wizards. Now with Will Dawkins cooking up his plan. Right now, the type of player who's part of the timeline is a player that can't even have a beer right now. And that's just is what it is, keeping it 100, right? So Jordan Poole, with his contract, it behooves the Wizards, and to a certain degree, behooves Jordan Poole for him to have a career season. I think he will. Look, I think Jordan Poole's going to come into this season with his chip on his shoulder. I think last year is definitely in his rear view, but he's going to use definitely the bad parts of last year as ammunition for him to have a really good season. I think he's going to put the NBA on notice because a lot of people were down on him. And I think that he's going to put a stamp on who he is as a player, not only in Washington, but as in the NBA. And same thing, Kyle Kuzma, we know what he can do. He can score. Kyle Kuzma has been that scorer for the Washington Wizards. Now, the biggest thing is, kind of changing his game to get everybody else involved to where development of these young guys is the priority, and because it should be, right? So, but I expect Kyle Kuzma starting at the 3. He's going to be dangerous. He's going to be a scorer, and I think he could have a career. I think both of them can have career seasons, and that really sets you up for what? Boosting the trade value and be able to move them and get draft assets and maybe young players in return, which is the MO of the front office. Again, they're going off the Oklahoma City Thunder model where you accumulate all the picks you can, all the young talent you can, and you can pick up bad contracts or veteran contracts to eventually move on from, but eventually you move on from them because you want to get some kind of value. Looking at Tyus Jones, we'll see. He has not been signed as of yet. Do we do a sign and trade? We'll see. But the goal was to try to get some value out of Tyus Jones. Because in hindsight, looking at the Kristaps Porzingis trade, sending him to the Celtics, you want to see that we got some kind of value back for KP, right? So that's the biggest thing with these vets, especially Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma, because there are a couple of players, a couple of commodities that teams who are looking to add in the next piece are going to want. Now, I get a lot of people are down on Jordan Poole, but I'm telling you, he's going to surprise people. And Kyle Kuzma, he definitely has value with other teams. And his contract, again, is definitely team-friendly for us. It's also team-friendly for a prospective team who wants to add a next piece to the team, and they don't have to spend a lot of assets or money to do so. So let's get into number 3 before we get into comments. Alex Sarr, Bub Carrington, and Keyshawn George just playing ball, having fun, and letting head coach Brian Keefe do his job. Look at these 3 guys, very raw. Now, Bub Carrington, not so raw. Alex Sarr, yes, very raw. And Keyshawn George, raw, but look, all 3 of them have massive potential. Now, Bub Carrington had a great summer league. Keyshawn George had a really good summer league. And Alex Sarr probably had a summer league he doesn't want to remember, right? But I think all 3 of them are very promising young players. But here's the thing: we have veterans on the roster. Most of them are going to be starting. Michael Brogdon could be the 1 or the 2, but he's going to start. We'll see. It's subject to change if Tyus Jones comes to the equation, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But Kyle Kuzma is going to start. Jordan Poole is going to start. Jonas Valanciunas is going to start. Saddiq Bey is not part of the equation because he's hurt. So a lot of these vets are going to be starters. So in the case of Alex Sarr, you can argue, yes, he needs to start, right? Because when you're drafted 2nd overall, the expectation is you're going to be a starter. So you could argue, both ways. You can argue both sides of the coin. You can argue why he shouldn't. You can argue why he should, right? But looking at Keyshawn George, you can take, the approach where he can start out with the go-go. We'll see what kind of minutes he can get with the second unit because there's still some dominoes need to fall with the second unit. Looking at Bub Carrington, you give this brother minutes, man. You give this brother minutes because he can play. Obviously, he's going to be in a backup role. He's not ready to start yet. You got Jordan Poole can hold down the fort while he properly develops. But here's the thing with these 3 young guys. You can even stretch it to all 5 picks under Will Dawkins. Just play ball. It's a rebuild. We're not expected to be good anyways. We're trying to get Cooper Flagg or somebody in the top 5 who's going to change the trajectory of this franchise. Could we be a little more entertaining? Absolutely. But we're not going to be very good. So there's, let them take their time. Just play ball. Let's have fun. Let's go out there and play basketball, man. No pressure. Go out there and play basketball. Brian Keefe, David Vanderpool, his coaching staff is known for development. Let Brian Keefe do his job. Let him find ways to get them involved. Let the development people do their job. And that's kind of the third goal. Let them just play basketball. Alex Sarr, yeah, people are getting on him. There's outlets on the internet that are calling him a bust. I'm not ready to do that. The young man's played 5 summer league games. 5 summer league games. We're not talking about 1 regular season. We're not, 5 summer league games. Yeah, I get it. There's areas, especially aggression or the lack of, that frightens you. But I think he's going to be all right because I think you have to put your faith into this, the fact that we brought people in who are known to develop high-end talent. Let them do their jobs, give them some time, be all right. But I think coming along with that is not putting too much pressure on them, not putting too much on them right away. Let Alex R, let Bub, let Keyshawn play ball. Let them have fun. Let Brian Keith cook. Let him do his job. Let Will Dawkins do his job. And we'll see, man. I mean, we have a long road ahead of us. But look, I think we all can agree that we are finally looking like a competent organization to a certain degree. To a certain degree. You know, the issues we had in the past, not hitting draft picks, the lack of development, the lack of scouting. You see that Will Dawkins, Brian Keith, they're all taking steps to eradicate these notions that we can't draft, these notions that we can't develop or scout. We're trying to change they're trying to change the narrative in DC. So let them cook, let them do their job. So we're gonna get in the comments, everybody. You guys let me know, what do you think about my three? What are your three? And then we're gonna get in the comments and chop it up and start Friday off like we always do. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Now, I love sports. I love them so much, I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer games, and the sports aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel's hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone, every single day, all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day long? Have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today. A free 24/7 sports streaming channel, program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. All right, everybody, let's get in the comments because we're going to start off Friday night like we always do. So let's jump into it. I'm going to try to knock out everybody's comment, man. Like, try to get that, man. So we're going to start off Locked On Law. My guy, what's up? Tanking for Cooper Flag. Yes, sir. That is definitely the target for next year. But, like I've said this before, don't make it Cooper Flag a bust. A lot of talent in the top 5, top 10 of this draft coming up. Guys who are closer to starters in this previous draft, high-impact players. So Cooper Flag is definitely who I'm aiming for. But, there's other players that can definitely change the trajectory of this franchise, man. Let's see, Ricky Daniel, how you doing tonight? Hope to see Bilal take the next step. Same here. Year 2 is going to give you indication where he's at. I think, can you totally say breakout? He's still young, still early in his development. So I'm not going to say official breakout. Like, the previous season with Denny Avia, that was a breakout because he was in his 4th year. And, the areas that he needed to get better at, which was 3-point shooting and mid-range, he got better at. Not so much mid-range, but 3-point shooting in other areas. So he definitely officially broke out. With Bilal, official breakout campaign, not so much yet. Even though, hey, look, Bilal could easily tell me, hold my beer, and go ahead and just have an immaculate second year. And I'm all for it. But I think that with his age, the fact that he just like Alex R was very raw coming out of the draft, you want to see some progressions. That's, especially for his 3-point shot, his mid-range, his ball handling. I want to continue to see him attack the basket with aggression. The defensive side, continue to be that pest on the defensive side that we know you can be. I think B Cool's going to be all right, though. I'm definitely excited to see what he can do in year 2. Dr. Law said that would be traveling one step only. Got you, man. Got you. Wishful thinking, but, you definitely want to see some progress in year 2. Ricky Daniel, get the rookies and the young guys as much minutes as possible. I'm with you on that. You definitely find a way. I get it. We got vets on the roster right now. We'll see if we flip it at some point. But right now, you have to find minutes for Bilal Coulibaly. You have to find minutes for Tristan Vucevic. You got to find minutes for Alex R. You definitely have to find minutes for Bob Carrington. And you got to find minutes for Keyshawn George because these guys need minutes. You can't develop without playing. And to a certain degree, you have to start a youth movement. And it's going to start with, when we get to the point where we start offloading a lot of these vets and getting assets back and making it a true youth movement, we'll be all right, man. Like the law says, trade everyone over 25. I like what you're saying there, man, right? Because, look, Jordan Poole, I would not be disappointed if Jordan Poole was part of the future. You guys know I'm a big fan of Jordan Poole. I love his game. But the big reason I really like Jordan Poole is not so much his game, even though he can ball. He's an all-star talent. It's just the mental side. He impressed a lot of people, dealing with the L's, dealing with the criticism, and coming back. And, even when he reverted to 6-man, he played his tail off. When he became starter, he brought this offense to new heights, in my opinion, by pushing the pace. So I think that, I wouldn't be disappointed if they could sit in, the long-term piece. But then if you look at Bub Carrington, who's slated to be a point guard, we'll see. But 3 years, even if you keep Jordan Poole for 3 years and build his value up, maybe flip in the third year, I think he's going to be really good in DC, man. So we'll definitely see on that. TJ Hooks, how you doing tonight? I got to hit on developing every pick and keep next year's pick. Can't have a repeat of what's happening with JD. I agree 100%. Development is the name of the game. Yeah, you got these vets who are going to play a high level. Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma. I expect career seasons out of them because there's going to be a lot of offensive responsibility put on them, a lot of leeway, right? They're definitely going to be the one to punch as far as the scoring options. But you're still developing these picks, man. All 5 of them under Will Dawkins, and you can argue, Corey Kispert. A lot of people, a lot of us are forgetting about Corey Kispert. He's still around, and we're going to talk about it this week coming up, but he's definitely a guy who's getting a lot of interest in the trade market now. Could they do what they did with Denny, which is sign him to a very friendly team contract? Absolutely. And then flip him? Absolutely. Could he be part of the future? Absolutely. But I think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered getting closer to training camp as far as not only the immediate construction of the roster, but long term. But I definitely agree with that. Appreciate you, man. Lock the Law also said Johnny had no business being drafted 10th. Not his fault. Yeah. I mean, and that comes down to scouting and development, right? He was a good player at Wisconsin. He was a guy who was a leader at Wisconsin. He was a guy that you saw a totally different player in Johnny Davis in Wisconsin than you do with the Washington Wizards. And that's just being straight up. He was a force. And I'm not saying like a force like Zion was at Duke or Carmelo was at Syracuse, but he was a guy who he was a Big Ten player of the year. So he was something, right? And the fact that I'm not going to put it all on organization, but I think what it started going wrong was when they tried to make him a point guard and they tried to make him a 3-point shooter, which if you look at Wisconsin, he only shot 1.5. He wasn't known as a 3-point shooter, even though could he hit a 3-point? Yeah. He's a mid-range shooter. He's a guy who, wasn't fast. His first step wasn't bad, but speed was not a way he was going to get around anybody. It was finesse, footwork. And I think they try to evolve they try to change his game too much to the point where he became confused with what kind of player he wanted to be. It's not to say it's not a little bit. It's not on Johnny Davis. Look, when given the opportunities, you gotta perform. This is a performance-driven league, right? So you gotta perform when given a minute. So it's just one of those situations where you gotta call it what it is. We missed on the pick, and I definitely shout out to Johnny Davis, man. I hope he finds a job, whether it's with the Wizards or elsewhere in the NBA or overseas. I hope he continues his basketball career, but it's becoming more and more evident that he's probably not going to be around much longer. And even if they retain him, of the hope of trying to develop him and see if they can figure him out, this is your last chance. I mean, that is it. Ricky Daniels said, let's establish who will be our franchise point guard moving forward. Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. I'm with you on that. And I think that a lot of moves need to be made till they solidify who is part of the future at point guard. Right now it's Jordan Poole, and it should be Jordan Poole right now. He should be the guy running point. He's earned that. He's been in the NBA. He's got time on his belt. He's got a championship ring on his belt. He's a guy he needs to start now. I'm not gonna make any argument that Bub should start because Bub should not be starting right now. He has no business being a starter, but he will be the future. But Jordan Poole, looking at his contract, is he tradable? He will be. I think that this year he's going to have trade value. And if you want him part of the future, I'm all for that because I think that he's a young guy he can play at an all-star level. I do believe he can play at an all-star level. But we'll see. Like I said, it's becoming more and more evident to a certain degree, though, that Bub Carrington is looked at as the future point guard. So we'll see. Right now, it's very murky. We don't know clearly what the blueprint is as far as point guard and most positions. What is going to be Bilal's permanent position? Is he a wing? Is he two guard? I think the biggest thing is versatility. It's going to be hard to really pinpoint what a long-term position is for a lot of these guys because they're versatile. 1 year, Bilal could play the 2. Next year, it could be the wing. Is depending on other pieces added. Because if he, let's say best case scenario, we go out and get Cooper Flag. He's going to play the 4. So, you look at Alex Sarr, where's he, is he reverting back to 5? There's a lot of questions. So versatility is the name of the game. All right, so we're going to do one more question, and then we're going to get into our second ad, and then we're going to roll out like we always do, y'all. So let's see. Van Jones said, tank plan is number one. Absolutely. How did we get there and still develop Bilal, Bub, George, and Sar? I think by trade deadline, those guys should all be getting big minutes. Bay should be back by then and take George minutes. I love it. I love your comment. Let me see. Tank plan is number one. Absolutely. I agree 100%. How do we get there still to develop Bilal, Bub, George, Sar? I'm with you on that, man. I don't know if Sadiq Bey is going to be back by the deadline. I think that he may be back for a quarter of the season, but I mean, really, let him get better. There's really no rush with Sadiq. Let him get 100%, and then let's roll him out next year. You know what I mean? I don't want to rush him. ACL surgery. In that injury, give him some time. I'd let him sit for the year, just so you know that he's healed. Don't rush him back because we're not gonna be good, man. And I wouldn't really rush him, but I definitely see where you're going. So I agree 100%. So I'm gonna try to knock out everybody's question tonight and comment. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by Gametime. So you guys know I'm a sports fanatic. I love going to games all the time, man. Baseball season, football season, basketball season. I'm there. I got experience with every ticket out there. And to me, Gametime's the best. And there's three big reasons why. I mean, number one, last minute deals. You can save up to 60% off buying last minute tickets, not only for sports events, but for concerts, comedy shows, theater events, etc. I used Gametime for a concert, man, this previous year, man. So look, because it was at for you guys that live in the DMV, it was at the Jiffy Lube in Virginia. So you can definitely get good tickets, not just for sports, but for concerts, comedy shows, etc. A lot of good deals. What else? All-in pricing. This feature shows the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout, which is huge, man, because as you guys know, a $75 ticket could easily turn into $100 some dollars just based on the fees, right? We're trying to eliminate that with Gametime. What else do I like? The lowest price guarantee. Or Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. So those are three good reasons why you should definitely consider Gametime. So look, what do you have to do? Well, take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. And again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA, LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, everybody, let's get back into it. I'm going to try to knock out everybody's comment tonight, man, because I hate missing you guys' comments, man. Locked on Law says plan 1, 2, and 3 is Cooper Flag. I'm with you on that, man. Cooper Flag is definitely the target, man. The kid can play some ball, man. I mean, he's getting high marks from NBA legends and, current NBA stars. I mean, the kid can play, man. Duke got a good one. Locked on Law also said Alex Sar had a better summer league than Johnny Davis. I don't know, man. Johnny Davis had some good games in summer league. Alex Sar just seemed like he was just out of his element, man. And a lot of that has to do with relying too much on his jump shot and not being aggressive enough, attacking the paint, playing his back to the basket in the paint. The rebound numbers I do like, but he was too reliant on that shot, and the shot ain't there. And so it's tough to be reliant on something that is not even 100% there for you yet, So Johnny Davis had not a bad summer league, but both of them left a lot to be desired as far as what you want out of them as players, man. And Locked Law also said that's the best plan. Play the youth and stockpile draft picks. Absolutely, I agree 100%. Play the youth and stockpile draft picks. Start moving some of these vets, and that's what I'm saying. Going to the second goal, you want Jordan Poole if he's not part of your future, and you want Kyle Kuzma to have career seasons because you're going to get maximum value out of both of them, man, and be able to get some decent draft composition. Because look, if you're able to get a draft pick in 2025 or 2026, woo, boy, you go with it, man. I'm trying to tell you. All right, Ricky Daniels says, let's establish a defensive identity. Great point. Amen, my brother. Defense needs to be the name of the game. And I think you see that Alex Sar, right now, rim protection and rebounding are going to be the areas of his game where you're going to see pay dirt early on. Bilal, defensive identity. I agree with you that Bilal is a dog on the defensive end. So you're going to see now, Bub, you saw a lot of effort on the defensive end, and same thing with Keyshawn George. So definitely one of the hallmarks, one of the parts of the foundation you want to establish early outside of culture is a defensive identity. So I agree with that. Defense needs to be the name of the game, man, because the league is going back to defense. If you look at the officiating, they're tired of people scoring 140 points a night. I mean, defense is going to be prioritized a lot more. And if you look at a couple of moves, man, I mean, if you look at How many picks did they get from Marcus Smart? And there's a reason for that. His his defense had a lot to do with that. So there's if you look at guys like Patrick Beverly, a big reason why they continue to get job after job is because their defensive pass. Defense is still valued right now. Rudy Gobert, if you look at the haul they got for him, is because of his defensive identity. Obviously, he ain't scoring none. I mean, if you're able to use him as a lob threat, that is a blessing because Rudy Gobert is probably going to air ball mid range. I mean, he's not going to stretch the floor. So defense is still prioritized. So I agree 100%. Alan, how you doing tonight? Ace Bailey, Nolan Terreur, and Dylan Harper plus flag is who's on my list of who I want. I'm with you on that. I love me some Ace Bailey. I think Dylan Harper is a baller, man. Nolan Terreur, I like him, man. I'm starting to watch him more and more. But that's kind of what I'm saying is that don't make it Cooper Flag a bust. There's a lot of talent in this draft, man. See, and he also said Nolan is going to be a problem. Absolutely, I love it. I'll start to watch him and look at his tail of the tape, man. He's looking good, man. I mean, there's a lot of good guys in this upcoming draft that can definitely change the trajectory of this franchise, man. Absolutely. Ben Jones says at Allen, substitute Harper for Edgecombe, and I'm with you. Edgecombe may be the next Ant-Man. I'm with you on that too. Look, my man Jones, I'm with you on that. He could play. He's definitely another guy you need to take a look at, man. Definitely need to take a look at him. Corey Lott, how you doing tonight? This draft class could be special if the fans can be more patient. Sar has tremendous potential. He's young and has not played in a physical league like the NBA. Fans need to stop being weird. I agree. I think that this draft class is kind of slept on. And we knew that going in. You're not going to find guys going to be able to start right away. But if you develop them right, you're going to have some winners in this draft. And I think Alisar can still be one of them. Five summer games are way too small of a sample size for me to say that he's going to be a bust. I think that the potential's there, the talent's there. It's just let Brian Key do his thing, and I think he's going to be all right. Aggression. You can argue that aggression is one of those things that you either got or you don't. And I think that two things that I would like to see. One, Jonas Valanciunas I think is going to be good for Alex R. He's going to push him in practice because Jonas has always had a chip on his shoulder, and I've always loved his play style, and he's always given the Wizards the business every time we played him, whether he's with Memphis, Toronto, or New Orleans, man. So, but number two, why not bring in somebody like Kevin Garnett? Work with him. Kevin Garnett was not a guy who was swole, but he was stronger than he looked, and he had that aggression, and that was his MO. He was just a guy that he let his aggression, lead him as a player, man, and he was a dog. So, yeah, he needs to learn how to be a lot more aggressive, man, but we'll see. I'm willing to wait on him a little bit, man. Dr. Law says Sar wasn't even starting on his Aussie team, but we expect him to be Dwight Howard. Absolutely. I mean, look, I'm not going to knock another league, but the Australian League is a league that is not known to be up there as in the top tier of international leagues. Let's be real. You're looking at other leagues, Spain, definitely in the Balkans, France, you're definitely looking at other leagues to be, the top tier as far as, physicality, defense. Because if you look at, Europe, these guys, the MO used to be in Europe that, they gave room. They gave room to shooters, right? No, they got, defenders getting people's face. The closeout is getting shorter and shorter. So I'm with you. He wasn't the guy in Australia, so we can't expect him to be the guy year one in DC. It's going to take a long time. I'm not saying 5-10 years. Within a couple years, it's going to take for you to kind of see that aggression, see him change his game a little bit. Because look, man, he's very raw, but he's high. He's got high potential, in my opinion. Let's see, Corey Lawson has a better shot than Dwight. Yeah, man. But Dwight was a dog, man, as a center. But right now, it's a totally different league. Centers now can stretch the floor. Definitely has a better shot than Dwight. But Dwight, man, in his prime in Orlando was a dog, man. A dog. Let's see. Ricky Daniels says, can we have Phil Schneer and Steve Buckholz, backhand, my bad, back calling games? No offense to Drew and Chris, but Phil and Buck were lit danger. I like them too, but I'll say this, man. I agree with you, but I like me some Chris Miller, man, and Drew Gooden, man. And I'm gonna say this, Chris Miller, man, has been instrumental to me and with me doing this the last 3 years. This is a guy that I've been able to talk to. He's a guy that knows ball. He's a guy that he's been a good influence, man. So he's a guy that obviously I'm a little biased because I've had a blessing to be able to have somewhat of a relationship with him, man, and be able to talk to him. But I like them, man. I think that they've grown on me. Like Chris Miller, he cracks me up, and then Drew, so I'm with you. I did like Phil Chenier, man, and Steve Buckhantz, man. But I'm ready to move forward. I like the tandem with Drew and Chris, man. But I definitely appreciate the comment, man. Lock and Law says, yeah, that was as dumb as Snyder getting rid of Sonny and Sam. Yeah, man. Oh, Snyder. Uptown Dre, yo, my brother, what's good, Uptown Dre? How you doing tonight, man? What you got going on this weekend, man? Let's see. Stuart O'Flaherty says, bring in Alonzo Mourning. Great point, man. Great point. That's another guy that I would bring in. Absolutely. So let's see. Looks like Stuart O'Flaherty, depending on future comments, looks like Stuart O'Flaherty is going to be our last comment of the night. So let's see. Stuart O'Flaherty said, Sarr is a teenager. Come on. When he's 21, 22, he'll be 20 pounds of muscle bigger. We'll see the dog then. I agree 100%. Definitely, we have plenty of time to wait, man. We have plenty of time to wait. We got one more before we roll, man. My guy Locked on Law. Sarr weighs more than Emmanuel Forbes. Man, look, Emmanuel Forbes, because I just did a video for my Commanders channel. Emmanuel Forbes, he just added 17 pounds of muscle, and he's looking a lot more aggressive in training camp for Commanders, man. So hopefully Forbes figures it out, man, because you know what? If he can figure it out this year and you can still have a more aggressive guy, especially when it comes to tackling, and still have the ball hawk mentality, Emmanuel Forbes could be something this season, man, because right now, with new GM, new coach staff, he's got to show something this season, man. And I think he'd be all right, man. Uptown Dre says, are we trading Kuz and Kispert? Also, are signing and trading Jones. I think Kuz, if he has that career season, I think he will be moved at some point this season at the deadline. Kispert, I think they're going to take the route like they did Denny. If he's not part of the timeline, sign him to a team-friendly deal and then move him like they did with Denny to Portland. So let's see. And Stuart O'Flaherty is going to be my last one, y'all, because I can sit here all night with you guys, man. I'll laugh aloud, Lock the Law, too funny. Yeah, look, Sarr and Emmanuel Forbes, man, they need to definitely. But I think they're going to get there, man. Both basketball, respectively, both of them, man. So, again, last one, guys. Hope they bring Gortat to teach Sarr how to screen. Yeah, that's another thing. I'm glad that you mentioned that before I rolled out, man. His screening has to get better. It has to get better, man. So let's see a couple more comments, man. I'm gonna go ahead and roll out after these two guys. Emil Klaus says Sarr can learn from his brother. I agree. And Uptown Dre says, salute, comrade, keep prospering. Appreciate you, my brother. Much love, man. Definitely hope you have a blessed and safe weekend. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and roll. Definitely appreciate you guys, man. Rock with me on a Friday night like we always do. Taking time out of your day just to rock with me, man. Means a lot. So definitely I hope everybody has a blessed and safe weekend. Enjoy the good weather. Definitely if you drink responsibly. I'm about to hit this bourbon in about 30 minutes. So definitely be safe, guys. Definitely have a safe weekend. So I will see you guys Sunday. Oh, real quick, I'll tell you for next week. I will be going on vacation on Wednesday. I will be back that Monday. So let me look at the calendar real quick. I will have a video drop Wednesday the 31st. So this week coming up. But I will be on vacation from the 31st to about the 5th, man. So I'm not gonna say right now whether I'll be dropping a video on that Monday, depending on what time I get home. But that Tuesday, I will be picking episodes back up but like I said, I will have content all the way up to that Wednesday. So Wednesday I'll be on the road, and by the time I'm on the road, you guys will be watching the episode. So I'm definitely going to, and like I said, I will be taking my equipment with me. So if any major news happens, wherever I'm at, I don't care if I'm on the daggone beach, man. We're going to have to find some Wi-Fi because I'm going to holler at y'all, man. So definitely, if any big news comes out, man, I'm definitely going to put it out there. But like I said, I will see you guys Sunday. Hail to the Wizards and peace. See you guys next time.